Today, I'm going to show you how to sew in an ass patch like this. So this is the best technique I found after 10 years of upcycling for patching the rear of jeans. So we're going to put a patch on these jeans. So this is what they look like right now. And the first thing I'm going to do is turn them inside out and press them so that they're flat. And if you have a giant rip like this, you probably will want to put some interfacing on, which I can give you with the patch so that you have some. And what that's going to do is the area around the patch is really fragile. This is the very thin fabric that's been worn out. And this is interfacing. It has glue on one side that's heat activated, has little dots on it so you can feel which side goes down. And we're just going to put that over the area that we're going to patch on the inside and use a hot iron on the hottest setting with steam, and we're just going to press this in place, and it's going to hold the fabric of the jeans in place while we're patching it. And I'm just going to show you the patch right now. I'll also go in and do a little mend of these other areas that aren't so visible. They won't be covered by the patch. They'll just have a little bone backing to them. I'm not going to show you that as part of this video. I'm just going to show you the ass patch. What we're going to do is we're going to pin our patch on here. And to do that, you're going to stick your finger behind somewhere. Whether you come in from this side or that side is up to you. I'm going to put this guy just at a little wonky angle and get as much as I can into that corner there. And I'm just going to pin it in the four corners. Whoop, like that. And look, I'm going in through the hole. That. And this guy. And the only reason you're coming in behind is so that you don't catch that second layer of the denim underneath. Whee! I'm working very hard not to poke myself with a pin. That's one of the hazards of pinning through thick layers like this, because you've got 4 layers. You've got your denim, 4 layers, 5 layers. You've got your denim, you've got 2 folded over edges. Okay, so it's very thick. That's that. Okay, so we're going to slide this under here. And one little trick that if you need to, you can lift this foot up a little higher. And then we're going to put the needle right here. I don't know if you can get down here so you can see underneath, but we want to put the edge of the needle right on the edge of the fabric. So there's one line to the left, and we're going to keep this part of our presser foot kind of lined up with that seam line from the previous stitching. So we're doing a top stitch on the edge. I'm going to take my pin out. You never sew over your pins. And I'm going to start with a little back tack. And we're just going to top stitch this puppy down. And I'm making sure that this layer underneath is not getting caught in with this, that it's totally separate from that on the sewing machine, so you don't snag it by mistake, okay? And then I'm just going to do a little back tack, and then I'm just going to go around this square here, keeping the fabric as even as I can. And I'm actually using a different guide than I told you. I said that we were going to use that one, but there's a little place on the presser foot here, and I'm lining it up with the edge of the fabric. I'm just finding that's a little easier for me to see. So my little top stitch is not going to be perfect at the beginning, but chances are yours won't either, and that is just fine. This is you putting a patch on your jeans. Okay, and I'm going to come down to the corner, and I just want to show you what I'm doing at the corner, and then I will fast motion the rest of the video, which Kika, my friend Kika, is videotaping us here, will continue to roll. Okay, so when you get down to the corner, whoop, I'm going to pull the pin out before I get to it. And when I get right to the corner, just that far away from the edge that I've been sewing, I'm going to push a little rest of the leg through here so I can line this up. So one of the keys to making things sort of look good is to get it as flat as you can. But we're actually in a little bit of a hole here because we got a rounded section. So I'm using the needle as down. That's kind of holding that little corner in place while I do all this fiddling with the fabric. So I'm getting it as even as I can, and then I'm making sure that that edge of this is lined up with the edge of this. And then I'm going to come forward a little bit at a time, straightening my fabric as I go. Wee, 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 wee. Oh, and it's pushing away from the edge there, so I'm just going to compensate. When you compensate, it's important to do it slowly or you'll get really jagged lines. Okay, and once again, my fabric's kind of pulling away. So the technique that I do here is I sort of scrunch up this fabric and lay that area into a hole so that it can be flat. Okay, and now it's not pulling away as much. I have a little more control, right? So that's what we're doing here. Scrunch, scrunch. Now, if this is an ass patch, if you're doing a leg patch, I actually open up my inseams for that. So I do not recommend this same technique for the inseams, but it's a lot of work to open those inseams. So if you can get into these little corners using this rolling up the fabric technique, that is the way to go. And it is a patch. It does not need to look perfect. Part of the charm is the imperfection of it, you know? Okay, and I'm getting close to that edge again, and I'm pulling out my needle. And there I am, and again, I'm lifting up the presser foot, shoving this through. Now we're going to get back to a part where it's a little easier to get it flat. Okay, there it is, and I'm laying all my fabric flat before and behind it. Okay, and lining things up again. I know I make sound effects. It's who I am. And
Lifting.
oh, what? Something's weird's happening. We had a little flub where the machine jumped to stitch 11 instead of stitch 1 and started doing sideways wonky things. So I'm just overlapping where I was a tiny bit, and I'm really working hard to make sure that all of this is flat and that I don't have puckers in it because it wants to pucker up here. So I'm holding things flat, but not, I don't want the fabric to push too far this way or too far that way. So kind of holding it flat as much as I can. Okay, and we're off and rolling again. And I can see that there's a little bit of, nope, it's fine. Flattening it all out. Yeah, I'm getting close to that edge, pulling my pin. Okay, and in this case, we're just going to lose some of this back pocket because we're doing the easiest rendition. That's what, for people that are doing it on their own, that's what I kind of recommend, is keep it easy. I might, if I was doing this at home for myself, I might take the time to take that pocket off and put it on again afterwards. I'm not sure how I'd approach it if I was doing it. I'm doing it this way so that you can see how to do it. The easiest way I know how. And we're coming up on the end. Yay! And when you get to the end, you just back tack a little. Excellent. And on the inside, you can see that you have your extra support fabric that's been tacked down in a few places. So there's basically coverage over that whole big area. I couldn't find that pair to show you, but in the end, it'll look something like this. I also, put a couple other patches on decoratively. One thing I forgot to tell you is that it can be really helpful to sew that interfacing down. That gives you a guide as to where to put things on the outside, and also when the glue starts to come apart, it'll still stay together. So this is the best technique I found after 10 years of upcycling for patching the rear of jeans.